Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So in today's video I'm going to talk about family estrangement. Yes, there is a thing called family estrangement, and the first question comes, what is family estrangement? So basically family estrangement is when one or more family member begins to distance himself or herself from that family or from that family member. Yeah, so for example, my family is toxic, so I start distancing myself away from my toxic family. So that is what a family estrangement is. And the underlying cause of family estrangement is most of the time, 80% of the times, is seen some kind of abuse, some kind of toxicity, or some kind of negativity in the relationship. As we know that of course in our society everything gets masked. In our society everything is denied and negated, that no, everything is fine. But in India I have seen these things happening where children are just distancing themselves away from parents, parents are distancing themselves away from children, husband is distancing himself away from the wife. So a lot of these things occur, but it is not talked about. Why? Because we want to look perfect, we want to sound perfect, and we just want to feel as if we are perfect by just denying and negating the possibilities and the very existence of abuse in all kinds of relationship that exists in our society. So yes, family estrangement happens because of negativity, abuse and toxicity. And we can't deny the fact that everything reaches saturation. Yeah, so in a relationship, if there is a lot of negativity, emotional availability of a person is not there, a lot of toxicity is there, a lot of these subtle and major abuses are there, a person feels very choked and suffocated, and that is the time when a person decides to leave such a family, because that family is not making him or her feel good. And psychologically, if you see, there are various causes and reasons why this family estrangement happens. And as I said, toxicity is there, as I said, abuse is there. There is a quite amount of neglect, emotional neglect, that leads to family estrangement, where the parents are not emotionally available. So the child also responds by not being emotionally available, because the child needs that. The child wants to be heard and seen. Even an adult child also wants to be heard and seen, and if he is not heard and seen, he would or she would begin to distance himself. So emotional neglect is one of the causes of family estrangement. Then betrayal could be another reason. Bullying, constant comparison. Some of our family members are like constantly comparing you with someone else. Oh, their daughter has done this, oh, their son has done this, what have you done? Nothing. They have made such a big house, but you have just you are staying in rent for all these years. So again, those kind of comparison, bullying. And to an extent, substance abuse can also be one of the factors or reasons behind the family estrangement, because as it is a lot of emotions are getting built up, there is no system of healthy conversation happening in family. Families are just training and raising kids to be tolerant towards abuse, whether it is work, whether it is relationship. And there is a kind of an invisible pressure that a person feels, but they really don't have any logic to back that up, because it's so invisible. There is this comparison, there is this pressure, and there is a huge list of expectations And you know how it happens, and with all of these things bottling up inside of you, if we reach a point, either we snap, or if we are not strong enough, or if we are not intelligent, or if we are not that mindful to cut off the relationship, what happens is that people find ways to cope up, and one of them is substance abuse. So yes, family estrangement is not an alien phenomena which happens out of nowhere. I mean, there are underlying causes and factors and reasons. I often come across people, and some of them complain, and they are very unhappy that their children are not staying. Some of the parents, they are unhappy, and they are complaining that oh, when they were child, I took care of him so well, and now see, they are least bothered about us, they are not listening to us, or they are not with us, they have distanced themselves. So when the child was small, the child was the child had nothing to offer. The child had just you were happy with the child, and the child was not manipulative, the child was not abusive, the child was just an innocent child who needed care, shelter and love, and that is what you were giving. But when the child becomes an adult, that is when the dynamics change, and that is when a lot of these expectations, wrong conditioning, legitimizing and normalizing abuse happens, and a lot of manipulation happens, and that is where and when the bitterness comes in, that is when the entire relationship dynamic changes. It was all love, care and comfort and coziness and being together, and things were different when it was a parent and a small child relationship. But when it is a parent and an adult relationship, things are different. Parents have a different mindset, and they really want the children to be a copy of them, and they are not understanding that they might be a wrong copy, they might not be the correct copy, they might not be correct themselves. How can they expect the children to be themselves? So again, those narcissism, those mental health issue kicks in, where they assume, it is absolutely normal for a person to assume that their children is an extension of their ego, their children is them, their children is not individual beings. And this is when we are the parents are confronted with somebody's individuality. Our children grows up into an adult, and when we are confronted with their uniqueness and individuality, it hurts us, because we were raised with a wrong notion that our child who's come through us is a part of us. It's a part of you, it's a part of the family, it's your own blood, it's your own lineage or whatsoever. It's a family member of your own that you created. But how can you expect that person to have the same brain? How do you expect that person to have the same level of emotional understanding? How do you expect that person to be the same? It's all different individual beings. You might like something else, your children might not like it. You might be comfortable with some idea and some things, certain ways, your children might not be comfortable. So that is where the friction comes, and that is where the parents feel very entitled, and they feel like no, it has to be my way, I'm right, I have seen it all, I have reached a point of being God, I am omnipotent, I have seen everything. They generally hide what wrongs they have done. Parents don't talk about it because they want to have that, these toxic parents, they really don't want to be reminded of their mistakes. So they have their own stories to back up, lots of struggle, lots of sacrifice, and I am very intelligent, I have learned this and that. They don't talk about their mistakes. That is one of the hypocritical thing that I have noticed in our Indian society, that parents don't talk about the mistakes. They present a very beautiful and good picture, a very interesting picture in front of the kids, and they eat away the facts about their own life. So as it is, the child has some doubt that how can it be everyone's parents have challenges. I'm seeing social media, I'm seeing this and that. Everybody has challenges. I am having challenges, but why are my parents not talking about the challenges they had? So it's all fabricated, so it's all lies that parents live, and because of that the child has this inner gut feeling that something is not right. If I am having and if I am feeling such and such things, if I am thinking it in this way, it's quite possible that my father also did think in that way. He wouldn't have had been thoughtless being, or he doesn't think he has a brain. So definitely there is quite a lot of disconnect. And of course there is a lot of this push and pull, and all of this leads to family estrangement, because the children don't get convincing answers. The children feel pressured, the children find it absolutely abusive and toxic. The children grow low tolerance towards manipulation, and they are growing, they are becoming aware. I mean, I might have awakened from my slumber of all that social conditioning at the age of 20, but you never know, my child can wake up pretty early. My child can have an awakening as fast. My child is intelligent, so my child can awaken even earlier. You never know. So our generations are becoming different, our timelines are becoming different, but we want to pass on the same thing, we want to force the same thing, and this is the reason why a lot of families experience and face family estrangement. So the space is not given, children are not given that liberty, and there is a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, substance abuse, problems with anger, no healthy conversation at all. So the family as it is grows up, dysfunctional parents are wanting the children to be dysfunctional as well. They don't want the children to be healthy, and this is where the war begins. And some people still stay into it, some people still keep the relation, but they keep it from the distance. Yeah, so that aspect is also seen, where people are still related. It's not that they don't even talk, but they distance themselves, they don't stay together, they distance themselves. And then I think things become a lot healthier. Then things are not that suffocating and that choking. So yes, family estrangement is a real thing. It happens, and also it's made a very our society, our crippled society, makes it look like a taboo, an abomination when someone does family estrangement. If someone is unable to take it, they are not even allowed to quit or to leave that relationship. That is how abusive and toxic tolerant our society has become. I'm talking about our Indian society. I have not really stayed in Europe for long, so I can't comment on their kind of conditioning and society, but whatever I have read, researched and observed in my own society and surrounding, Indian society, this estrangement is considered like a taboo. So if a child chooses to distance himself, it's an abomination. He's a bad child. Everybody sees him as a bad child. Come on, he has his own individuality, he has his own preference, he has his own wants and desires, and he has his own outlook and way of living. So it's fine. It's much more healthy to have that boundary. It's much more healthy to have that healthy conversation and have a healthy boundary, so that you mind your own business, I mind my own business. But as it is in our hypocrite society, it is considered a taboo, and such children are demonized, such daughter-in-laws are demonized, such children are demonized, and even such parents are demonized. I'll tell you one interesting case where the man was not ready to get married, and the man was forced into marriage, and the man was forced to have children. The man was forced to show his manlyhood by having 2 children. The man did have sex and had 2 children with that woman. And do you know what did the man do to the family? The man, just left the family. The man is still alive, still provides some money to the wife for sustenance. The children have grown up and they are married, but the man did quit when he was most needed in the family. Why? Because he was just being forced and forced and forced. So he got married as per his parents' wish. He brought the daughter-in-law in the house. They had a daughter-in-law. Then the parents put pressure that you have to reproduce. He did that also, and after that he said goodbye to all of them and he went away. He is not divorced, he is not separated. They are still legally married, the husband and wife, but the husband stays in America and the wife stays in India. The husband is least bothered to come. He did not come in his parents' death. He doesn't come, he didn't come in his kids' wedding. But yes, when the kids go to America, he has relationship. He calls the wife also on and off, and he sends money for her sustenance also. So this is what family estrangement is. It's not always from the kids side, but sometimes it happens from the other relation side as well. I mean, an example that I said, it's from the father's side. So this is another kind of this toxicity build up, this pressure build up, that really makes a person distance himself or herself from the relationship. So yes, family estrangement is a real thing, and it happens. I have seen a lot, and a lot of people they go on crying that this happened, that happened. See, nothing happens out of nowhere either. There has to be a reason. Yeah, I mean, I distanced myself from my family because it was toxic and abusive. How much can I lie that families are beautiful? How much can I keep on lying to myself and keep on lying to all of you that everything is so functional and happy? We are a happy society. Look at us, where we stand, in the happiness index globally. We are onto the lowest numbers. So there is a lot of toxicity that needs to be addressed. We need to embrace the idea of healthy conversation and healthy boundary. Not everyone should be on top of each other and ruin everyone's life and make everyone's life miserable. So yes, family estrangement is a thing, and it happens because it reaches a point of it gets oversaturated. It gets extremely saturated, and it becomes difficult, and that is the time when people walk out, people walk away, they distance themselves. And I think it's fine, but we might be able to avoid family estrangement if we have, or if we practice healthy boundaries and healthy communication. So these things can be avoided. Family estrangement is mainly seen in toxic and dysfunctional family, which is like 90% of the families are toxic and dysfunctional, where there is no sense of boundaries, where there is no healthy conversation. It's just transactional. You do this, you do that, you give me this, I give you that, I will feed you and raise you, but you have to get a this for me, that for me. It's losing the actual essence. It's losing love. It's losing its value, and things are becoming nasty in the society. So yes, with healthy conversation, with healthy boundaries, and with a lot of awareness, we can overcome these issues like family estrangement, because though it looks ugly, there is a reason why it happens. And in order to avoid such ugliness, in order to avoid such a reaction, it's better to talk it out and keep it healthy, talk it out and maintain that healthy space, and everything remains fine. The family grows, the family heals, the family becomes a safe haven, the family becomes a happy thing, the family doesn't become a disturbing, problematic, abusive thing. The family becomes a better version, and ideally that is what everyone is looking forward to. So yes, this was all about family estrangement. Please do comment below if you have ever experienced or if you would want to add into it. And please do like, share, subscribe the channel, and lots of love and blessings to all of you. Take care of yourself. Bye.